In this episode of the 80's Glam Metalcast, we talk to guitarist and solo artist Tracy G. You may remember him as the lead guitarist from Dio. We talk about his future plans and get some awesome inside Dio information. He's a real down-to-earth dude, and he has a real passion for music. Check it out. Tracy, welcome to the 80's Glam Metalcast. How you doing tonight, brother?
Good, Mike. How's it going over there?
It's going great. So why don't you tell us what's going on with the Tracy G group heading into 2020?
I think I'm just going with the name Tracy G. When I go forward, just maybe drop the group word, but it doesn't really matter. Tracy G group, same thing. Well, this year I put out 2 more solo CDs for my Tracy G solo stuff. It was in the early of the year though, so I'm due to release another CD like early 2020, and I do a lot of studio work, a lot of sessions for other projects, and then I work my own in there too. The 2 CDs I put out this year was one was an anthology, like it's like my greatest hits or my favorite instrumental tracks off of my various CDs I've released over the years, right? So, and I put that out in early, February, I think. And then in about April, I put out an all-instrumental original CD called Tarantula Ditch, and you can get all these off my tracyg.com, page. I sell them off that website. And the Tarantula Ditch has it's got a 10 or 11, I forget how many tracks on it. On every track, it's got like a guest guitar player that played along with me, and we kind of trade off solos and stuff. So I got, some people that I knew, some people that I just met, different guitar players that I liked locally and from, all over the place. Japan, Europe, United States, Hawaii. Like, they live all over the world, so different guys, different places, and some have names. People would recognize them, some don't. They're local guys, just they're my friends, and really good players, and so each track has like a different guy. We got Rowan Robertson, the guy that played Dio before me. He's on a track with me, and guy from Great White, Mark Kendall, he's on a track with me. These are just guys that have a little bit of a name you might recognize. Who else is on there? Jimmy Dell. He's from the Midwest, I think. Great guy. Great guitar player. He plays in the band Autograph. Right now, I think he's in House of Lords, or he was, or something.
Nice.
And then a lot of local guys. So I did it like a networking thing to help network my own name and theirs, to get spread our names around, different people that might not hear me that know them, or vice versa, So that CD, Tarantula Ditch, it's all instrumental. I put Randy Oviedo is playing bass on everything. My bass player that plays with me pretty much all the time. So he's playing there, and I'm doing all the drum programming and all the rhythm guitars, and then my solos, of course. So that all came out in this year, and then going into 2020, I just got like another couple projects that, getting ready to work on them after my last. I put out 2 Latin CDs, and I'm going to be putting out my 3rd one. It'll be my 3rd one. It's almost done, but it'll be released in early 20. Latin stuff like Santana meets Dal Di Meola, or, I don't know, that kind of stuff. Instrumental. I love the flamenco guitar kind of stuff, too. So I'm putting that out in early 2020, and then doing some other projects. I got another project with my friend named Paul Alfrey. He's a good friend of mine, guitar player. So we started kind of a 80-ish kind of, the music's kind of like something where water came out and maybe, 80s or 90s kind of thing. We're doing a project right now. Randy Oviedo's on bass. Paul plays guitar and writes. I play guitar and write. We're using drum programming when we write the songs right now. And the singer is Michael Lee Drive. He used to be in a band called Barren Cross. He's doing the vocals. And so we're up to like 6 songs. That'll be done next year sometime. And we're just shopping it around for a label or something, get going with that. That would be called Gale Force. That's the name of that project. And I got asked to play with a band called Hollywood Monsters. They're from back east somewhere, I think. And I think the main guy lives in Paris. I think he lives in Europe, yeah. And they're a band, and they made a couple albums with some name players on it. They asked me to go on tour with them, like towards the summertime of 2020. So maybe that'll come through and that'll work. So that'd be fun. So there's just different projects I'm doing, and then of course I keep writing for the Tracy G thing, and I might do some gigs too, obviously in 2020 with my own group Tracy G thing. And then a bunch of other little side projects I'm doing. Just I do recording and writing for different singer-songwriter guys, that need a bass player, need a guitar player, need a drummer. So a couple projects I can do, and I can like be the whole band, but they're the singer type of thing. Ron Houston, his name's Ron Houston. He's in San Diego over here. We're on our second album, and he sings, and I write all the music for him. I think that project's called RHTG, just our initials. So I'm just trying to think of all the things I'm doing, and I'm probably leaving some stuff out, but I just try to keep busy, and keep putting decent music out there on the internet. That's kind of the best way to move it, I guess, in this day and age, so to speak.
Awesome. Yeah, it sounds like you got a lot going on, and you've been staying active all these years, so that's awesome.
I try, yeah.
So you mentioned Great White, and I've been doing some digging on you, and it sounds like you may have played with some guys in Great White back in your early days. Is there any truth to that?
Yeah. That was like, first of all, let's see, the drummer, his name's Audie Desbro. Me and him had a band, I don't know, we're going way back, like 77, 78, 79. We had a couple little bands, so we played together way back then. And Great White was like always like right around the corner, but they were called Dante Fox, and that had Mark Kendall and that had Jack Russell. But I played with Audie and Jack before they went to Mark Kendall, so to speak. Yeah, and we were neighbors. They kind of lived not too far away. So it was me, Audie, Jack Russell, and a bass player named Wayne Hutzel, and we had a band called Centaur, but we hadn't even done originals yet. We were doing kind of covers, and we played a couple parties and stuff like that. That was like 78 maybe. So then Jack went to Mark Kendall and kept working on songs, and I guess they changed their name maybe to Great White. I'm not sure when that came up, but I stayed with Audie, and we had a band called Riff Raff, and we played for a long time. And then the Riff Raff thing broke up, and then Great White got a deal and did pretty good, but it came to a time that they needed a drummer, so they hired Audie. So Audie is still with them now, I think, and he's been in and out, but he's with them now, and then of course Jack Russell isn't with the Great White anymore. He has his own Great White, right? So
yes.
Whatever. And yeah, so I kind of know those guys. I knew them when we were younger more. I don't see a lot of them today, but once in a while we talk and stuff. And like Mark Kendall, that's why I called him to play on my solo thing, because I've known him since we were kids, and it was real cool to have him in my studio, and because we go back, It was pretty cool to jam with him. So that's why I called Mark. He's a real nice guy. Yeah.
Nice. Now, did you?
So that's my connection. That's my connection with Grey White. That's kind of my connection with them. Yeah, I did play with some of them when we were younger. Yeah.
Did you cross paths with any of these other 80s bands that were kind of out at the same time as Great White back then?
I know some of them. I know of all of them, kind of. But as far as hanging out or doing, I did a little bit of crossing paths with George Lynch, of course. We crossed paths, and of course I know who he is and everything. Great guitar player and stuff. Probably, but I just can't think of who right now. Like, I met a lot of those guys, but I didn't really. I wasn't in bands with them. You remember a band called Love Hate?
Yeah, I was going to ask you about Love Hate. Yes.
Yeah, I was in the band like before they got a record deal, and I was in the band as the second guitar player to Johnny Love for about 2 or 3 months, and I played the Hollywood circuit thing, played a bunch of gigs, and then I just went on to do my own stuff, and then I ended up getting that gig with World War III in that was 1990, yes. 90 or something like that, yeah.
So how did that come about? Because at that point you're playing with the rhythm section of Dio. Who started that band?
Well, that was the singer Mandy Lyon. It was his band. He had lineups before me in the late '80s, through the '80s. He had all kinds of lineups, but he never had a deal. He couldn't get a deal. And then he hooked up with me, and I wrote him some songs, and he shopped them to his manager at the time and stuff, and they really liked it. So we did a showcase, and then we got a deal. So me and him, and we really didn't have a rhythm section yet, though. That the label wanted kind of they wanted a better rhythm section than we had. So we kind of kept our eyes open, and then a friend of mine saw Jimmy Bain hanging out at a bar and got his phone number, said he knows a band that's pretty heavy, and we're on our way to getting a deal. We need a bass player. So here comes Jimmy Bain, and of course he fit right in, Jimmy Bain. I was a big fan of his forever. And then when the drummer that we were working with wasn't quite cutting it, me and the singer looked at Jimmy and said, "Well, what's Vinny doing?" Vinny had left Dio at that time too. So that's how that got put together. And we already had the deal. We were getting ready to make the record, but we need a first class kick-ass drummer. So here comes Vinny, and that did that. And then we did that one album and went ahead and went on the one tour, small club tour of the U.S. Never played out of the U.S. with that lineup. And then that kind of split. And Vinny went to do Dehumanizer with Ronnie. And Jimmy was out and about wherever. And me and the singer kind of bumped heads, and that was over. So then there was about a year where I wasn't in a band, so I started my own band, a new band again, my own band called Mankind, and had 3 local guys playing with me. And then I got the call to audition. I got the call to audition for Dio because Jimmy Bain and Vinny went back to with Ronnie, and they were going to start another lineup and do an album. So I got a call to audition for that. So I went down there and did my thing, and then I got that gig with Dio, and it was Ronnie, me, Vinny, and Jimmy Bain at first. Jimmy Bain lasted a couple weeks, and then in comes Jeff Pilson, and then we did that first album, Strange Highways, and went on a tour. And then I went through the 90s with Ronnie, until 99,
I gotta say, and there may be some people that might not agree with me, but that's okay. This is my show. I can say whatever I want. That's my favorite Dio album. Strange Highways is my favorite Dio album, so that's what I want to talk to you about.
Right on. it's different. It's different than his other stuff, obviously. And people like what people like, Some people don't like a change, or whatever. And it's just music, I mean, it's the way I played, and I would come up with the riffs. Jeff Pilson would come up with some riffs. Ronnie was kind of in experimental mode. He wanted to move forward, change his lyrics to sing about sort of medieval times, more like what was happening in the world at the time, political stuff or whatever. And a lot of people don't like change, and I thought it was, I think to this day it's probably it's his heaviest album to me is on Ronnie's solo career. It's his heaviest album. It competes with any of the Sabbath records, as far as I'm concerned, as far as heavy. And I don't know, with a voice like Ronnie's, that's the only way I heard it, is heavy. Heavy grooves, heavy riffs, dark. He's got the heavy, greatest voice. I mean, how do you play anything lightweight with that? So I was coming from World War III, heavy, going to Dio, heavier, and that's what I think. So I can see, it doesn't shock me that you say it's your favorite. It's just, there's not a whole lot of people who say that. I know what you mean. But I have run into people who say that. And of course, I think so too. So, it's my favorite of all. Partly because obviously I co-wrote everything and I'm playing on it, but I know it's heavier than everything else. So that means a lot to me, because that's what I feel. And that's what I hope the people feel. That's what it's about for me.
I think what happened with me, I'm 43, so I got into metal and hard rock probably around 86. So I missed the first two Dio albums. You know what I mean? They just weren't on my radar very much. So when I got into Dio, he was doing Dream Evil and all that kind of stuff. And I thought, and I had those albums. I thought they were decent. And something about when Strange Highways came out, I bought it. And I'm like, this kicks ass, man. I love the riffs, the production, his voice. I think is the most vicious on that album than any of the other albums. It's just he's in attack mode. You know what I mean? I love it.
I think I agree. I understand what you're saying. I think the music helped push him, and with a guy that's that good already, when you push him. And, the riffs were heavier and angrier. And when you push a singer like that, he's just going to get heavier. He's singing at his highest, I think. And I'm glad I'm part of that era, if you know what I mean. Because I think I think I helped push one of the greatest singers of the world, put it that way.
Yeah.
Whether people dig it, whether people agree or dig it or not, it doesn't matter. It is what it is, and it'll be there when we're gone.
That's right.
So, people can say whatever they want. It doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter to me if it's negative because it's there, and they can't take it away. You can't take that away. And the people who get it, they get it, and you get it. You got it. So. It's for you.
Yeah, man. It's all what sounds good to your ears. I say that all the time. People can rant and rave and say, and a lot of it, like I said, is your exposure. Where were you at when you caught this music? Were you in the music in line at that moment or not? And that's what it comes down to. There's people that say to me all the time, Black Sabbath. Well, once again, I told you how old I was. I miss Black Sabbath. I like them, but for me, I'd rather listen to some of the Ozzy albums like Ultimate Sin and No Rest for the Wicked. Those are just the albums that I got first, and they still sound freaking awesome. So, deal with it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it has a lot to do with the timing of everything. The timing of when you hear it. Where are you at? Where are you at in your life when you first hear a certain thing? It can make a big impact on you. And so it's universal. To each his own. It's not, everybody has to think the same and has to believe the same and has, it's not, it's there for whoever wants to. Where were you when you first heard Strange Highways? It must have made an impact on you. To this day, when you hear it, you feel it.
Yep.
Right?
I think it's got a combination. When I think back to that album, I think another thing that I think about, grunge and all that kind of stuff was pretty much out there. A lot of us who liked the glam, which I did, that was kind of gone. It was basically, over those couple years in the early 90s, glam was gone. A lot of the glam bands were trying to be grunge. It was a messy time. So I felt like when I heard Strange Highways, it was heavy, it wasn't grunge, and it was still had a melodic sense. It was still catchy. It still had things that were familiar from the 80s, but it didn't sound like an 80s album. So that's probably why I liked it.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're exactly right. The timing that came out was odd because everything else around it wasn't that. But that's the way I've always, liked to go at music, the way I went at that. And it just, for my time, that's when it was. So I wasn't going to give Ronnie I wasn't going to try to make him like a grunge band, or I wasn't going to say, hey, cut off all the solos. Solos aren't happening no more. I wasn't going to say that. I was going to say put more solos in, as far as I'm concerned. Like they didn't let me play enough as far as I'm concerned, but that's just that. But I'm just saying, no, I wasn't affected by what was going on, but I just was doing what I done. That's what I liked. That's the kind of guitar sound I wanted. Those are all my amps I've used forever in my guitar that I've been using since like 85. And that's just my sound that I dug, that I knew was heavy, and I knew it was going to go good with his voice. I already knew that, so I didn't care what was popular. I never cared what was popular, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just like what sounds good to me.
One thing I can say about Ronnie, one thing about Ronnie that a lot of times, I'll be honest, I don't know what he's singing about, especially on a lot of this album. I don't know exactly what he's singing about, but I always feel a passion. And whatever it is, I feel like it's believable, even if I don't necessarily know what exactly he's singing about.
It's his conviction. It's his conviction in the way he sings. He could be singing about the birds and the bees.
Yeah, I think so.
But the way he sings it, though, again, here we go with just his conviction in his voice. You would dig it. You would listen to it. If you're singing about, the phone book, so what?
Yeah.
When you sound like that, it people are getting off. People are getting off on the sound of stuff. Doesn't have to always be, what's he saying? Like, what's the meaning? What does it mean? Like, what are the words? What are the words? I hate to say this, but a lot of times you don't care what the words are. It's the sound of the thing.
Yeah.
It's the sound of Brian Johnson's voice. It's the sound of Steven Tyler's voice. I don't really care about what they're saying. It's the sound of their voice over that music that you rock out to.
Definitely.
Right?
I agree.
I mean, it's. So when I try out singers, I'm like, you're a really good singer, or you're not, or whatever. But I need more passion. I need more conviction. I need you to mean it more. I don't care if you do have a good voice. I'm not looking for someone that you can understand every word they say, because heavy metal isn't even go like that. It's not even about that. If you can push again, though, if you got a singer like that, not too many people have a singer like that, like Ronnie. If you got a singer like that, look out. That's all I can say.
For sure. So what about Angry Machines? What was going on there? I mean, it definitely sounds different.
A lot of different things. The same thing, but not the same thing at all. I mean, the same guys, but really not. The musicians were being switched around. I mean, I was there, and Vinny was there, and Ronnie, but we didn't have Jeff Pilson all the time, and we did, and we didn't, and we did. So that changed some things. The business of the band was changing, so they wanted to change the direction. See, they wanted to go. They weren't just like Strange Highways. I came in and they just said, "Go, just let's do what we do." We just hired this new guy, Tracy. Let him play like he plays, and we'll go around it. And well, it just was natural like that. Strange Highways. But then because that didn't sell, because it didn't sell enough, I guess, enough people did not get it. So they wanted it. They got a new label. They wanted more success, and they thought more success means let's go back to Holy Diver. Let's go back to that time. Ronnie, you produce it. Get a drier sound. Cut the solos because it still is grunge time. So we should cut the soul. So that's the way the business was going in that. So it fucked up the whole chemistry of the songs. And it fucked up the whole vibe of the songs. I still think there's some massive riffs in there. But they just kind of got ripped apart with all the other negative shit that was going on around the band and the business. And people don't know any of that. But they just listen to the CD and they go, I can rock out to it or I can't rock out to it. That's all they really know. And Angry Machines was tougher because there was more shit going on. Does that make any sense?
It does.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of whole nother room. We were in a different place. The vibe was different. Everything was different. So the two CDs don't stand next to each other. They're different. So there's, Angry Machines suck. Angry Machines sucks. It's the worst Dio album. It doesn't. Everybody says, "Oh no, I can't listen to it." Well, because it's actually really good, but it's nowhere close to Strange Highways. So that's why people don't know how to digest it. They don't know what to do with it. There's some fucking great riffs and parts in there, but it's just it's hard for me to listen to too because I knew what was going on with the whole thing, and it was way forced. It was way more forced. On Strange Highways, each song took about a week to finish, to write. In Angry Machines, each song took at least a month or more to just say, okay, we're done. That's the difference. Now, people don't know that. You know, they don't know. They don't know what was going on. Yeah.
I actually like that album, to be honest with you. I don't like it as much as Strange Highways, but I can tell it has a more raw production, a little more funkier at times, got a little more groove to it. There's songs I like, man. Don't Tell the Kids and there's some cool songs. Stuff on it. It just gets
kind of buried with the unnecessary stuff that went on. There's a lot of parts. It's overworked. You know, it's overworked, and Strange Highways flows better. Yeah.
It almost seems as though he was lyrically trying to really step out of the box. I mean, once again, I don't know all the lyrics of what they're about, but Big Sister is like it's like a pun on Big Brother, right? So I feel like there was a lot of It was interesting stuff, really.
Yeah, he was trying all kinds of stuff. He was definitely in experimental mode still, but yet wanted to kind of try to. It was a mixture of we're still going to go forward with the lyrics, but the riffs could be a little wacky and out there, and we messed with some time signatures and played in 5/4 and different things that normal metal and Dio usually doesn't do. And it just was too much for the people to process, I think. They were just like, but I mean, Institutional Man, there's some fucking evil shit going on in that song.
Yeah.
But it's kind of over the, I don't know, I don't want to say the typical metalheads, taste, but there's some shit going on, and I don't just like metal. I like all kinds of music, so I don't have a problem playing in 7/8 or 5/4 if that's what it calls for. And for a regular rock guy, that's like, what? What the fuck's that? Yeah.
How did the relationship end with Ronnie? What happened?
Good. For me, good. One of the last things he said to me on the phone, he goes, I wish you were an ass. He goes, I wish you were an ass. That way this would be a lot easier to do, but I really dig you, and sorry to say it has to end now because of powers to be,
Yeah.
So we got along, we never wasn't like a big blowout or anything. No, it was just mutual respect, and he just said he was being, you know, a lot of his fans didn't dig what I was doing, and his new record company wanted him to go back to one of his first guitar players, if he could. You know, Vivian and him weren't getting along, so the next choice was Craig. And so he went to Craig, because he used to be with, you know, the label wanted him to play with guys he used to play with. He also picked up Jimmy, he brought back in Jimmy Bain when I left. That was a whole business, it's all a business thing, because they wanted, like, more of the first guys, so that they'd sell more tickets, you know, the original deal lineup. They're just, it's all about money to the business people, you know, money, money, money. I don't think the albums after me sold way more than Strange Highways. I really don't know, but I doubt if they did. They weren't any better. They weren't as good, as far as I'm concerned, but that's just me.
Right.
But I mean, he has to go where, you know, his manager points at him, and it's a business, unfortunately. Wish it was just people playing music what they want to play. But it you know, the business gets into it, and, well, you know, if you want to get this record deal, you got to get rid of that guy, because Tracy's going the wrong way. Tracy's bringing all this weird shit in, and people don't dig that, so get rid of that guy. You know, that kind of vibe. So he apologized for that, and what he first wanted me to do is stay in the band and have Craig Goley in the band too, and just have me play rhythm guitar now. And I declined. I said, fuck that. What do I want to do that for? I played lead guitar for 6 years. Now I'm going to play rhythm just to stay in a band, just to stay in Dio's band and be the rhythm guitar player. I said, I'm better than that, you know, as far as I'm concerned. So no thanks. So then he had to let me go, because I didn't want to stand in the back and just play rhythm and let Craig Goley play all his, you know, let the Craig Goley thing go. I mean, I don't even dig Craig Goley's solo playing. I'm not even a fan of his. So it'd be different if he was bringing in someone that I loved. I'd be like, well, let me think about it. But no, he was going to bring in someone that was like, you know, I'm not even a fan of his. So, like, he's not a fan of mine, I'm sure, but who cares, you know?
Right.
Whatever. But so I stepped out. He didn't. I mean, I'm the one that said, no, I won't do that. And then he said, okay, let's forget we had this conversation and just go on. And I said, okay. And then a week later, he called again and said he'd got to let me go. So that's how it went, no matter what anybody says. It's funny how people will talk about it as if they were in the band, as if they knew, as if they were there. Like, people think they know more than, they don't even know what they're talking about. They're like, you know, people like that, they're like that in life, anything you do. It's like, they think they know so much more than they really know. They're just talking shit.
Yeah, for sure. You know, you made an interesting point. I mean, I don't think there was any commercially big Dio albums, you know, after Strange Highways. I think it was over. I mean, it's for most metal bands, let's face it. You know, when we got through the 90s and into the 2000s, metal became more of a touring thing. I don't think there was many big commercial metal albums from, like, 80s guys or 70s guys. I don't think so, you know?
Yeah, I agree, you know. And going back to Strange Highways, I doubt if it's commercial or whatever. I just knew it was good. It was real. It was honest. It was heavy. And the more time goes on, it's gaining more fans. More and more people are getting into it as time goes. It's one of those kind of albums, you know. Yeah.
It never had a video, did it? Did it ever have a music video? It didn't, did it?
No. I mean, we did shoot a couple, but they never released them. We shot a couple. We shot one of them. Probably three songs. Probably Hollywood Black and Jesus Mary and maybe Evolution or something. We shot at the same place. You know the video they did release, a live video from Hammersmith?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, that one turned out pretty good. I'm surprised they released that. That's like a live, but an actual, like, MTV video. At that gig, they shot three videos before before they even let the people in the building, we lip synced to 3 songs. They never released any of that.
That's a shame.
Yeah, they never released. Like I say, I think it was like Jesus, Mary, Evolution, and something else, maybe Hollywood Black. I don't know, and I remember asking Ronnie a couple years after that, where'd those videos? How come they never released a video? He goes, I didn't like the way it looked. It looked too boring. He said. He said the way they shot it, the video looks boring. Is what he said. The camera work looked boring. There wasn't enough, editing, or I don't know. So you never seen it. But they did release an actual gig, the Hammersmith gig. That's the gig we did after we shot those videos the same night. Yeah. I think that came out pretty good.
Yeah. That came out recently, right? Like in 2014? Is that when it came out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. After he passed away, a few years later, they released that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's mixed and it looks pretty good, I think. And especially Ronnie. I mean, there's no fixes on that. That's purely live. There's no fixes on anything on that whole concert. Because most live concerts are put out, they fix them,
Oh, yeah.
They fix them. Live records, But no, this one there's nothing fixed. And Ronnie's singing at probably his best I ever heard of. When I finally watched that, when I got a copy of it, it'd been it already been like 20 years since. If it was like 2014, 15, that's already like 20 years since we shot the thing. And I had almost forgotten, like what we did, how we did it, if you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah.
So when I seen it, I was like, holy shit. Like, Ronnie's like, I knew he was great, but he was greater than I thought. I was like, I didn't know, I was just like, fuck. That he's singing. I mean, in that one concert, you hear that music pushing the shit out of him. And he's rising to the occasion, if you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. That was our last gig on our first tour in Europe.
What do you think of the Dio hologram tours?
I don't know about that, man. I just don't know about it. It looks creepy to me because it's not him. It looks like a puppet. And I just don't know. It's cool to keep his music alive and all that jazz. And it looks, what little I've seen, it looks weird to me. And I just don't know if he'd be a big fan of it. People say different things. It's all hearsay. I knew the guy for 6 years, and what I knew about him, I can't see him looking at that and going, oh, bitching. I just don't, not that, I guess that doesn't matter. I guess that doesn't matter what Ronnie would have think of it, obviously, because they do it.
Right.
I don't know. What do you think? Did you see it?
I haven't seen it in person, but I've watched videos, and,
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess I can look at it two ways. Like you said, it's cool that the music's still out there. But one thing I didn't like was when I watched the band, they don't move or anything. They just stand there like trees, and then there's that screen of him in the middle. You know what I mean? I don't know. It just doesn't feel like a real performance.
It's just weird, man. And anyway, I'm not here to put down anybody, but I mean, it's just Craig Goley doing all the guitars and Simon Wright doing all the drums. I love Simon Wright. He's a great AC/DC drummer. The drummer for Dio is Vinny. He's the drummer that has the feel for Dio. Okay, Vinny. Simon doesn't have the same feel. He's a great drummer, great guy. He'll probably even say the same thing. He doesn't have the same feel. No drummer has the same feel. All drummers play different, right?
Right.
It's not. Vinny's one of the greatest. He plays meat and potatoes, but with a feel. He has the feel. That's worth everything. Vinny's not just a metronome, okay? So along with the way the music, I know they're playing along with Ronnie. I know they're playing along with, back to the hologram, they're playing along with Ronnie's voice, but the music's real stiff and just dry and stiff, and I like it. It's not real. It's just like, oh man, it doesn't have that feel. What I was told was there's a couple tracks. I met the bass player guy that plays bass for that. He told me a couple of the tracks they do are like, I think, Heaven and Hell and, Don't Talk to Strangers or something. They stole from my era, meaning they stole Ronnie's vocals from when I was playing with him. And he's singing, the hologram singing it, but then they're playing the song. You understand? They're following Ronnie.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's pretty cool. I guess that they thought out of everything that they listened to, that Ronnie's saying Heaven and Hell 1,000 times with 1,000 different, from the Dio era, Black Sabbath, they could steal his vocals. They stole it. They thought his best performance, a couple of those songs, was from my era when I was playing with him. So that made me feel kind of good. I was like, well, that's cool.
Dude, it's probably that Apollo concert.
Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. I thought that was pretty cool, but to sum up what I think of the whole hologram thing, I don't know. I got to just say, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe
I'm not sure.
So I'm driving home today, and I'm listening to Hair Nation on Sirius. I hear Yankee Rose, Steve Vai, with all the weird sound effects in the beginning, and it kind of made me think about you a little bit. Did you like Steve Vai at all?
Sure. How can you not like some stuff he does? I mean, he can do anything, play anything. So he gets us in the wacky sounds. I know he does, but I didn't really. To be honest, I've heard him do those, and I dig it. Anybody who messes with sounds, I dig, because I like sounds. But I could say who I really kind of inspired me to mess with him is probably, do you remember, you might not know this guy, Tommy Bolin?
Yeah, Tommy Bolin, yes. Wasn't he in Deep Purple?
He was in Deep Purple, yeah. He took Richie Blackmore's place. Way back when I was real young, I heard him messing with an Echoplex and making some weird sounds, and I started then. I started playing around with adding sounds to me, and then I know Steve Stevens does it too, but like I wasn't really influenced by him because I was already doing them before I heard Steve Stevens do them. But I dig that. I dig him doing them.
Yeah, he does a lot.
Another guy that immensely does them is Eddie Van Halen. Like when I saw him for the first time, he does all kinds of weird little sounds. He doesn't, Eddie, we could go on forever about him, how great Eddie Van Halen is. But I mean, seeing him, I was 16 years old, and seeing him just pull these weird sounds out of the guitar itself, and then some pedals and some flangers and some weird shit, made me start to experiment like with him, with harmonics and just weird. I don't play like Eddie Van Halen. I can't sound like Eddie Van Halen. I'm not trying to play like Eddie Van Halen. But he's like obviously one of my favorite guitar players in the world. Who doesn't like Eddie Van Halen?
That's right.
The pure rock. I mean, come on. But I mean, the sound effect thing. Jeff Beck. He makes these weird fucking sounds. Jimi Hendrix, a bunch of feedback, makes it into. I go way back with these guys, and I love all that stuff. And so what I do today is just a combination of it all, of all that I've liked, with people who don't make sounds and then people who do make sounds. And I try to just put it together and play some, and sometimes don't play at all. I let the sounds take it, I love that. No matter what people say, they could say, "Oh, well, all he does is make noise." That's fine. That's fine that they say that. I don't. It doesn't hurt my feelings. I am making noise. I love noise. I call it sound. I just like to mix it in with my shit. That's how I like. That's how I hear it. So.
No, man, you write killer riffs too, man. Killer riffs.
Well, you gotta have killer rhythm. You gotta have killer rhythm and killer riffs before you could play a good solo, I think, because rhythm it's all about the rhythm of the riff, the rhythm of the rhythm of every great riff is why you like the riff. It's the rhythm of how you're doing it. So, and then when you play a solo, a lot of guys just think it's how fast you can go or how many eighth notes and how many quarter notes, but it's not that. It's about the rhythm of where you. That's why Eddie Van Halen is so great, because he's got rhythm in his solos, whether he's tapping or not, whatever. That's just a technique, but he's got rhythm in his solos. They're not just like he doesn't play like a machine. He doesn't play like a mechanical. He doesn't play mechanical. You feel his shit in his solos, so that's why he's great. And there's a lot of other guys that are great like that, But rhythms doesn't get the spotlight like it should. Rhythm, anything, the rhythm of the drums, the rhythm of the bass, the rhythm of the rhythm of a lot of the singers. The rhythm of how they do it is why it's so great. But it doesn't get the props that it should get. It's always about the lead shit, Yeah. Seems like, yeah. Yeah, I know.
So you're you're gonna always be known as a metal guy, right? And I know that you never were dabbling in the glam scene at all, and I know that's what my channel really specializes in. So, what did you think of the glam scene, glam metal, hair metal? Did you like any of the bands? What do you think?
Yeah, I loved it. I loved all that stuff because I grew up in it, and I loved Rat and all the tunes. All those bands have a few good songs, but not all of them, maybe. And some of them were a little bit, they took the look more than they took the music serious. You know what I mean?
Sure.
The look tends to take over, so I'm not as attracted to those kind of guys. But but a lot of them, I don't know, like even Great White. All these guys have some good songs. On the 80's bands, they have some good songs. I really love AC/DC though. AC/DC was the non-glam guys, just the regular dudes and T-shirts and Levi's and let's rock. That's pretty killer. I mean, they're pretty huge to me because they got song after song after song after riff after riff, and each album sounds the same, and it's just one thing.
Yeah,
that's what they do.
Yeah,
and you can't fucking deny it. It's just like fuck. It's great.
Any final things you want to say to your fans out there?
If there's any listening, thank you very much for following what I do, and I'm glad you dig it because it is what it is. And check out my website, tracyg.com. I try to keep it updated, and I constantly try to put out new music. I'm going to start on a blues project too. After my Latin, I'm known as a metal guy. You said that earlier. I'm known as a metal guy. Yeah, I do love metal, but I also like, I like Latin music and I like blues, and I think everything comes from blues, even the metal. Black Sabbath was a blues band before they were like heavy, So there you go. So I love blues, so I'm going to do a blues record, and keep your eyes open for that kind of stuff, and thanks for your support.
Thanks for talking with me tonight, man. It was a great conversation. I hope you enjoyed it too.
No problem.
It was a blast talking with Tracy G. I hope you guys all enjoyed it.
Heavy metal!